Hello friends, welcome to this new episode of the Influencer Talks. Today is World Tourism Day and we have with us two grandmasters of the industry to discuss about the Indian tourism industry. So let me introduce you to them. We have Dr. Miss Surinder Kumar. She has got rich 30 years experience in travel, tourism and hospitality industry. Dr. Kumar is a PhD in tourism. She is primarily into inbound tourism and also into the academics and training part of the professional in the industry. Also, we have Mr. Rajnish Kaistha. He's Honorary Secretary of India Association of Tour Operators, ITO, and he's Director of Paradise Holidays India Private Limited. He has been in the industry for almost 35 years now, and he is primarily into the inbound tours. So welcome both of you in this show, the Influencer Talks.
Thank you, Mr. Mathur.
So for the purpose of discussions today, we may divide the tourism industry in India into two parts. One is pre-COVID era and one is the post-COVID era. It will for the easier because we know last 18 months have been very, very difficult for not only for the tourism industry, but I think all the sectors and all the industries. So we will first talk about the pre-COVID era so that we get to know what exactly has been done primarily in last, say, 2 decades or so. World Tourism and Travel Council Report 2018 ranks India at the 3rd position in the global hierarchy with 10% GDP, 84 million employments, and so on. Mr. Kaistha, my first question to you is that do you think that in the last 2 decades, starting from say 2001, has Indian tourism industry grown to its potential, what it could have done, especially last 2 decades?
First, greetings to everyone on the World Tourism Day. And we all hope and pray that positivity comes in.
Right.
The past of last 18 months gets over and we start fresh.
Absolutely.
Okay, talking about last 2 decades,
G.
on the international level,
All right.
the tourism has definitely grown up.
Mm-hmm.
The travel bug has caught almost with anyone and everyone. And people, whether short haul, long haul, they are willing to explore. The millennials, the young techies, professionals, they are very much into traveling. And a lot of people who have retired, who has got now surplus money, the traveling has opened.
Right.
The quick means of traveling has brought the world closer. So when we talk about India, definitely there has been a growth. We were talking about achieving 1 million tourists, they became 10 million and we are at 17 million. So those numbers are there. The growth could have been much higher. There are various reasons for that. But in the real sense of 100% organic, real foreign tourists, those numbers are not that many. The reason being we have NRIs, OCIs, business people, students, medical people from Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, all they come into numbers. multiple entries within the country from neighboring countries. They all are counted. Each visit is counted every time.
Right.
But in totality, tourism has definitely increased, though not up to that expectation.
All right. Dr. Kumar, your
Yes.
expectation, specialization is actually training the professionals. And you have been doing it for the last so many years through your company,
20
Travel
years.
Mill. Yeah. So what do you think the growth in the skilled and professionals has been adequate or up to the international levels, or there has been some level of lacuna there?
You see, in terms of, training, people for this industry, we actually, when even like I'll take the example, when I joined,
Right.
I don't think, in the industry, like you learned gradually and, with all that. So there was no formal way of really training people. There were a few schools of, training people in tourism and all, but very few. I mean, I'm talking of about 30 years ago.
Right.
Now, what happened is gradually, it started happening that when you see tourism became recognized, and in the sense that like it was felt that tourism is now happening, and when the government realized that it's a potential sector which earns foreign exchange, and people were doing well, and tourists were coming. So then it was realized that it's not only that you increase your flights or you have a better infrastructure or you have hotels, all that was there.
Right.
But you need a trained manpower for that.
Absolutely.
You see, you need a trained manpower which is world class if you want to, attract world class tourists.
Right.
So, this was felt. And based on that, schools and colleges and all, they started happening. And, so formally training started. And definitely, I would say that, there was a dearth of trained people.
Right.
And then you see, suddenly technology happened. Roughly about, as you know, about 25 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
Then there was, there was no, so therefore, need. It is a need-based training which started, which, where we needed trained people. And now, we have some excellent hotel management institutes.
Right.
We have some universities which are giving very good programs.
Mm-hmm.
And then, people like us who are also giving, the technical training, which is, provided by IATA, recognized by IATA.
Right.
So I think that, training is definitely needed. And you'll be happy to know that there are lots of people who want to join this industry. It's an expanding industry. It was expanding.
Yeah.
And in the future, we expect there will be expansion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So with that, I would say that, we are on the way, and I think it will be the right way to carry on.
Mr. Kaistha, India has immense potential in various kind of tourism, like adventure tourism. We can talk about medical tourism. We have lots of monuments spread across India, across the states, at a vast area. So what is the main development which you look at? Because I think we need infrastructure, we need safety is an issue, and what do we need to do to make it a very sustainable and responsible growth of tourism in India?
अतुल जी, ऐसा है
जी
कि इंडिया में main attraction
जी
which people study in their schools, colleges also, all over the world,
जी
whether they are developed countries or developing countries or the third world, everybody knows about Agra, the Taj Mahal or the capital.
Right.
तो पिछले 60 साल से हमारा दिल्ली, आगरा, जयपुर,
जी.
the golden triangle
Yeah.
has always been the highest seller. Anybody who wished to come to India, most of them would first look at the golden triangle, look at the Taj Mahal, the monument of love, and then they will start looking into other places. Those who are first timers or maybe want to do a bucket list to have done India probably would like to cover that.
जी. जी.
But on the other hand,
जी.
I have traveled pan India not once but many a times, except two states, which is Tripura and Mizoram.
जी.
And across the country, you start traveling from Turkey all the way to London, and you start traveling from Portugal via Spain all the way to Scandinavia and through Russia. The diversity you see probably in the 35 to 40 countries
Right.
is all within our one country.
Absolutely.
And it is, you talk about cultural tourism. Yes, we are an ancient civilization and we have everything to talk about the culture, boast about our culture and showcase our culture,
जी.
which people always get curious. Hollywood has always tried to showcase movies based on Indian culture, though sometimes in a little poor light, they would like to show the things in a different manner, that more of a Rudyard Kipling manner, but India is different now. People do understand.
जी.
You see, adventure. Look at our Himalayas. The
Right.
70% of Himalayas, the largest part of the Himalayas are part of India. Yes, we don't have Mount Everest or we don't have K2, but we have so many other peaks or so many soft tracks and medium grade tracks and hardcore adventure tracks through the Himalayas. We have a great part of our desert in Rajasthan, which is for camel safaris, the jeep safaris, and lots of other activities which are there. Look at our coastline.
जी.
So, a lot of water sport activities. So, there is a lot of this is there.
मेरा सवाल वही है ऐसा जी कि हम एक यूरोप ट्रिप पे मैं गया था बहुत एक हाइप हुआ वहां के हमारे जो ऑपरेटर थे उन्होंने कहा कि सर आज आपको एक ऐसी जगह लेकर जा रहे हैं जो आपने जिंदगी में कभी नहीं देखी होगी एक ये है उसका हिस्टोरिकल ये है उसको जला दिया गया था 1800 साल पहले देन इट वाज लाइक वी वेंट देयर और एक सिर्फ दीवार खड़ी थी एंड आई थॉट कि मतलब इस तरह की हिस्टोरिकल 1500 साल पुरानी दीवारें हमारे यहाँ इवन अगर दिल्ली एनसीआर की बात करते हैं तो बिखरी पड़ी हैं व्हाई आर वी नॉट एबल टू मार्केट देम उस एक दीवार का इतना हाइप हुआ था कि शायद मैं वो यूरोप टूर में उस दीवार को ही देखने गया था आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू अंडरमाइन एनीथिंग हियर हिस्टोरिकली बट व्हाई आर वी नॉट एबल टू डू दैट दैट्स द क्वेश्चन
I'll give you a very small example.
जी
Greece, for its tourism,
जी
based on the ruins. I've traveled to Athens, I've traveled to Olympia, I've traveled to Alexandria, I've seen these places.
जी
The way they do the narration, the storytelling, and the way they have kept the place, the information they provide, and the way they market it, that is where the difference. Compared to that, our temples, the origin of Hindu temple architecture started from Ayole to Badami to Patadakal to Hospet on to Mahabalipuram. If you see those, these are not at all spoiled. They are absolute in perfect shape. Our musical pillars at Hampi. So it is the narration which is there, and tourists doesn't have to come and visualize. They see it with their own eyes. Where we lack the right marketing, the infrastructure which has not been there but now gradually coming up, and sometimes I also look at way that India is a very, very vast country. Sometimes marketing too many things can also be a bit of issue, that you want to sell a culture, you want to sell an ancient history, you want to sell a monuments, you want to sell the mice, you want to sell the Himalayas, you want to sell yoga, a medical tourism. So sometimes that is bit of, overwhelming for a tourist. But
Absolutely.
yes, our monuments are much better kept than most of the places in the world. You go to Mexico, you see the Incas places,
Ji,
and there you just see the block of the stones. But here we have things which are
absolutely.
still kept in shape, and we need a right marketing. I'll
Absolutely.
just share one very small thing with you.
Ji,
When I've been doing my international overseas marketing since 1985, that's the first time when I traveled overseas for
right.
international marketing. It's been over uh, 35 years I've been doing this.
Ji,
For first 15 years, I was studying the Golden Triangle or Rajasthan or Goa and things around it, Khajuraho, Varanasi, Valley de Gange, like French would ask. And one day I told myself, anybody and everybody is doing that. I stopped marketing that. I went beyond that to the hidden places, educate the people, because rest of the country, the tour operators, the Ministry of Tourism, the states are already talking about what we are people know. So
absolutely.
this is where once we do that consciously, it will definitely help us. And people are going to these off-beaten places.
Absolutely. Dr. Kumar, uh,
Yes, please.
आपने अभी कहा कि जो प्रोफेशनल स्किल्ड प्रोफेशनल एजुकेशन में टेक्नोलॉजी इज प्लेइंग इट्स पार्ट. आप टेक्नोलॉजी को अभी कहाँ देखते हैं कि किस लेवल पर है और हमें उसको कितने और ग्रो करने की जरूरत है कि दैट वी कुड एक्चुअली कंप्लीटली फुलफिल द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ ट्रैवल एंड टूरिज्म एंड ऑफ कोर्स हॉस्पिटैलिटी इन इंडिया इटसेल्फ.
देखिए, आईटी की जो बात की जाए तो
जी.
इंडिया सबसे आगे है. सो हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि
जी.
हम उस लेवल पे नहीं पहुंचे. लेट मी सॉर्ट ऑफ गिव दिस क्रेडिट टू आवर कंट्री.
राइट.
वी आर ऑन टॉप इन द ब्रैकेट.
जी.
और इसमें ये है कि जो भी हमारे जैसे टूर ऑपरेटर्स हैं, जो रजनीश जी हैं या कुछ और भी नाम हम ले लें, हम वो जो एक हमारा देखिए इंडियन एडवर्टाइजमेंट एंड ये हमारा एक बड़ी अच्छी क्वालिटी का है. इट्स ऑफ अ वेरी गुड क्वालिटी. एंड आई मस्ट टेल यू that the quality and the way technology जो हम यूज करके और एडवर्टाइजमेंट कर रहे हैं,
जी.
वो बिल्कुल आप ये सोचिए कि अच्छे लेवल पे है. और हमारी जैसे एसोसिएशंस हैं या हम लोग भी, मतलब हम अपने जो ऑलरेडी पीपल जो लोग काम कर रहे हैं उनको हम अपग्रेड करते रहते हैं टाइम टू टाइम, और उनको टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफर चलता रहता है. सो मैं ये कहूंगी कि अच्छा अभी देखिए जैसे अब जो रजनीश जी अभी कह रहे थे कि क्या क्या बेचा जाए इंडिया में. वी हैव एवरीथिंग. हमारे पास सब कुछ है. अब देखिए आयुर्वेदा है, योगा है, मेडिकल टूरिज्म. लुक एट आवर डॉक्टर्स कितने अच्छे हैं. मेडिकल कैन बी प्रमोटेड, कल्चर कैन बी प्रमोटेड. हमारे यहाँ तो ऐसा है कि आप हर स्टेप पे 10 स्टेप्स के बाद आपको कोई हिस्ट्री मिल जाएगी. कहीं भी चले जाइए हमें हिस्ट्री मिलती है. अच्छा अभी देखिए जैसे अब गवर्नमेंट क्या कर रही है, इसको प्रमोशन करने के लिए जैसे सर्किट्स बन रहे हैं अलग अलग. बुद्धिस्ट सर्किट हो गया. अब जैसे वो सर्किट ये राम का बनाएंगे, ये सर्किट हो गया, वो सारा शुरू करेंगे. फिर मतलब इस तरह से सर्किट्स बन रहे हैं. लग्जरी ट्रेन्स हैं जो हमें जगह जगह ले जाती हैं. यू सी, अब आपको मालूम है कि सबसे बड़ा इंसेंटिव अब जो गवर्नमेंट एक अवार्ड मिलता है प्रेसिडेंट का, जो स्टेट अच्छी एडवर्टाइजमेंट कर रही है. अब वो उनको देखिए, कभी वो केरला को मिलता था, कभी राजस्थान को मिलता था, और अब सारी स्टेट्स आगे compete कर रही हैं. तो आप देखिए कि टूरिज्म हैज अ इन इंडिया इटसेल्फ कितना इसका स्कोप हो सकता है. तो टेक्नोलॉजी हमारी बिल्कुल ठीक है. हम एडवर्टाइजमेंट में बहुत अच्छे हैं और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया करती है. देखिए वो हमारा जो प्रोग्राम है ये वाला भारत, दैट व्हाट वी डू, इनक्रेडिबल इंडिया. लुक एट दैट प्रोग्राम. इतना खास है वो दुनिया में. और सो अभी तो हम लगे हुए हैं. देखिए हमारी तो जैसे वो एक में हमारी इतनी हेरिटेज साइट्स हो सकती हैं जो अब कहीं 40 हुई हैं. वो इसलिए कि हर कंट्री सिर्फ एक ही साइट 2 साल में अप्लाई कर सकती है. हमारे तो हर महीने एक हो सकती है यूनेस्को हेरिटेज साइट. यू अंडरस्टैंड? मतलब हमारे पास इतनी साइट्स हैं.
Absolutely.
और टूरिज्म अब देखिए खुल रहा है। मैं खुद ही इस समय ऋषिकेश में बैठी हूँ, मैंने आपको बताया था।
जी जी
और यहाँ पे छोटे छोटे बच्चे, बहुत से लोग ट्रेकिंग पे जा रहे हैं, राफ्टिंग पे जा रहे हैं। तो आई मीन देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ फ्यूचर, वी डोंट हैव टू वरी। कोविड देखिए जैसे आया चला भी जाएगा। और मेरे को बहुत, आई एम वेरी ऑप्टिमिस्टिक अबाउट इट।
जी
और ये जो हमारा एसोसिएशन जिसके रजनीश जी वो हैं,
जी
doing a lot for the members and for the promotion along with the government. We are doing a lot.
राइट
So we see a lot of future here.
राइट। मैं मेरा अगला सवाल कायस्था जी आपसे यही था कि आपकी जो एसोसिएशन है, इंडिया एसोसिएशन ऑफ टूर ऑपरेटर्स, आई थिंक उनकी एक्सपेक्टेशन गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ टूरिज्म से काफी होंगी। सो व्हाट आर दे, एंड पोस्ट कोविड में आपको गवर्नमेंट सपोर्ट किस तरह का चाहिए, और आपकी एसोसिएशन खुद क्या कर रही है टू एक्चुअली रिवाइव द एंटायर इंडस्ट्री नाउ, बिकॉज से कंप्लीटली स्टैंड स्टिल पे है अभी।
Atul ji, for me, COVID is a passe now. It's been 18 months. It has played its havoc. It's taken its toll on the lives
जी
of the people and the economy. And tourism, hospitality, aviation has been the worst hit.
एग्जैक्टली
So this is the time for recovery now. Now, when we are doing for recovery post-COVID,
जी
whether it is the business, it is tourism, travel, is going to be very different.
राइट
People's expectations, looking for safety norms, governments playing with it, their restrictions on different kinds are going to be very different. So we as an association have been going all along to the government now for last 6 months to
राइट
open up India, start in a phased manner, issuing the e-travel, e-tourist visa, and start bringing in the scheduled flights, because bubble flights are only with 49 countries and the purpose is different.
जी जी
So we should look for, and I'm glad that government now, including minister, has said that they will be opening India in a phased manner. Our PM in Goa announced a week ago that probably the charters could be allowed in Goa very soon. Tomorrow
Right.
being a World Tourism Day, there could be a possibility we get to know a date. And we have been telling government that it should not be like you announce today, okay, India is open from tomorrow. Give us some lead time.
absolutely
It's not with immediate effect 00 hours. It's not going to work like that.
जी
We need to tell people that India is opening up. And when we are opening up, what are the SOPs for tourists for their safety?
राइट
Double vaccination, yes. RT-PCR before departure to India, yes. But RT-PCR within different states of India while going from one to the other place should not be there. It should be one RT-PCR which has been done with 2 vaccinations for foreign tourists, should be valid all over the country. I can't do it. आज उनको आगरा जयपुर लेके गए, कल मुझे गोवा ले जाना है जी, आप RT-PCR कराइए। आपने हिमाचल जाना है, नहीं जी, आप RT-PCR और कराइए. Tourists wouldn't go for that. Not only it cost, but it's always a fear in the mind of people that if I develop this something or it comes positive for whatever reasons, mera aage ka kaise hoga? Then what are the protocols? Are we prepared? In case of anything which goes wrong, in smaller cities, tourists traveling, do we have district hospitals to cope up with the foreigners or even Indian tourists for that matter? In case of anything, right now there is no rush in the hospitals. There are very limited number of cases. Most of the country is COVID-free. So we should be very careful about that. Then COVID insurance. Many countries are offering a small amount of COVID insurance as an incentive. Government of India has agreed to give 500,000 tourist visas till 31st March 22 to encourage people to come to India.
Right.
What, as an association, we have been asking that NRIs or business people, other people, communities taking use of that may not help. And visas, these free visas might get exhausted. What we have been requesting government that issue this electronic tourist visa for 500,000 people, which we are demanding 1 million and
Right.
valid till March 22 as an association, so that goodwill goes across. Because foreign tourists is not going out to buy a toothpaste or just a next door city. They have to pack their bags, they have to work out their itinerary, they have to do the things. It's a process of minimum 3 months to 12 months to plan your holiday in advance.
Absolutely.
So keeping that, and then we have our seasonality factors. So keeping that in mind, we have been asking government for it, and proper SOPs with all frontline workers, which must be vaccinated, including every driver, every guide. A small place like Khajuraho, a vendor on the roadside, who is going around to the tourist.
Right.
If he is not vaccinated, he could be the carrier. Can he be danger? No, we don't want that.
Absolutely.
So we have to get our own house in order while we are opening, and it should be, of course, in a phased manner, but with proper protocols. It will go on very long if I start discussing that, which we have already discussed with government, but very much on those lines. It's there, and I must share with you that Ministry of Tourism has been very, very receptive, very proactive, all the officials about this, and I'm glad it's moving in the right direction. The revenge tourism is going to start very soon for people to travel because they've been home. They have the money. So we are looking for bounce in the business, which is very, very important. And I am optimistic, I am positive, and so are the colleagues in the industry.
Great, sir. Mr. Kaistha, बस एक छोटा सा आप मुझे 30 seconds में, what are your expectations policy-wise from the government of India for the future development of tourism in India? Very brief, sir. I know 30 seconds are like.
Of course, it's a big time marketing which is required.
Absolutely.
I have given a suggestion that Dekho Apna Desh webinar through the Indian consulates should go all over the world, translate into different languages. But we need now some kind of support. We are not looking, government is not going to give cash dollars, cash rupees to dole out. What we are looking for, SCI's got over with 1920, which is just now being released. We would like ITC for foreign exchange earnings. We would like remission of duties on tourism, as on exports. We are already considered as export, but we need support for tourism export. These are the things we need, and if that happens, that will be a help to industry to make up on the losses of last 18 months. I would say 21 months by the time tourism starts, and to start rebuilding again for them scratch. Sorry, it's been more than 30 seconds.
No, it's perfectly fine, sir. And I will say thanks to both of you, Dr. Kumar, Mr. Kaistha, for sparing time on such a grand occasion. I think this will actually bring in the positivity again, and slowly and steadily we will definitely get back to what we were 2 years back, and then much more ahead from there. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.